There is our past of what's happened so far in our life, and then there is a present and there is a future. And when a present state of experience happens, some of these past unresolved problems show up in the present. When we have learned to heal these past emotions, then we are able to see them and invite them into the new self. Health improves, your well-being improves, your vitality improves. Life becomes so much more joyous to be in. Say someone went through a breakup, a really nasty breakup or a divorce, and they have not allowed the other person to move on, and they have not allowed themselves to move on, then this trauma will continue in every single relationship they have. Now, there are three types of trauma: acute trauma, chronic trauma, and complex trauma. Acute trauma is trauma that's happened once. It's a single event, like the car crash we spoke about. Chronic trauma is something that is continued. For example, a really toxic relationship. A complex trauma, a classic example I have here is schooling. For me, schooling was traumatic. Trauma sits in the body in a gross level, and it becomes chronic pain eventually. When you resolve a past trauma, this toxicity has finally released, and it shows up as a vibrant body. Trauma gets passed down through generations, and that's called agama karma. This very body is a creation of my ancestry. The only time it shows up is it shows up as fear, it shows up as insecurity. India-Pakistan relationship. The division of land created division in humanity through religion. We are the one being. We are human beings. We cannot be separated by caste, creed, color, nation, religion, borders. Wouldn't it be great to have a world of peace, a world that gets along, a world that says we are human race? Africa, a place where humankind walked out. The most richest country in the entire planet, with so much resources, yet the poorest continent. If only we come together in a symbiotic relationship as human beings, humanity will take birth again as once it was. Heaven and hell are right here on earth. If you're not happy where you are, move to a place that makes you happy. When you heal, the people, the beings around you heal. The left-hand side of the body is you. Just you, no one else. Everyone else apart from you is on the right-hand side of the body. I can't see you, but I feel that you will see me and get my message. How I'm able to integrate with you is because I have integrated with myself. Science says, Vedic science says, that the body lives in the pericardium of the heart. You took birth in this planet to do your unique thing. Please wake up.
Hello, I'm Neringa, member of Healing Warrior Tribe, and we're here together with Rajan, who's the founder of Healing Warrior Tribe, to discuss emotional and mental health. Hello, namaskaram.
Namaskaram, Neringa. Thank you.
My first question is, how do we define what is emotional health? And why is it important in nowadays life?
Emotional health is to manage your emotions. It's how you manage your emotions when you have a positive emotion or a negative emotion. When you have an experience where you are receiving negative emotions, and if your emotions are not managed, it will become a negative emotion. And then when you have a positive emotion that you're receiving in your energy field, and how you respond to that. And if you respond to that in a positive way, that's positive emotion. When we master ourselves to manage our emotions, then we manage our environment. When we're able to manage our environment and we don't get affected by positive or negative emotions, say someone gives you a compliment and you get too pompous and excited, and then you forget about what you're doing next because you're too glorified in your own being and thinking about what they said 10 minutes ago. But what you're doing 10 minutes after is nothing relevant to what they said 10 minutes ago, right? And same way, the negative emotions of what they perceived at the time they said and how they said it has moved on, but you carry on that emotion of negative information or negative feedback for years, and that becomes trauma. So that emotion turns into trauma.
What are some common misconceptions about emotional trauma that you have encountered in your work?
This is a very common thing that happens. There is our past of what's happened so far in our life, and then there is a present and there is a future. When something has happened in the past, and we have not resolved that past experiences, the emotions that came in during the time translates and becomes, in the gross field, becomes trauma. And when we have not processed that, and when a present state of experience happens, some of these past unresolved problems show up in the present. For example, someone that I'm coaching came to me recently and said that they have a lot of resistance towards seeing and meeting their parents. The way their childhood was with their parents and a lot of unresolved emotions had turned into trauma for this person. And when their parents wanted to visit them, there's a lot of resistance for them to come and visit, both for them to go and visit their parents and the parents to come and visit them. This is purely happening because 10 years or 15 years or 20 years ago, the relationship that they had with their parents has not been resolved. It had turned into trauma. So that trauma is resisting the present moment. And in their future timeline, they have built a barrier for not allowing or not inviting them into the new frame, into their new life. They have not moved on. They're still living in the past. When we have learned to heal these past emotions, then we are able to see them and invite them into the new self. And in the new self, you create invitations based on where they are and how you can create common goals. And this is a way to not just heal relationships, have healthy relationships, have healthier boundaries, so you can create amazing things together as a family, as a tribe, as a community, as friends. Whoever this relationship you have with, when you're able to allow yourself to heal the past relationships, past trauma, past emotions, you're able to recreate new relationships, create new things out of the relationship so that can benefit the society or the community that you're in. Health improves, your well-being improves, your vitality improves. Life becomes so much more joyous to be in together.
Can you please elaborate on different types of emotional trauma that people have and how these traumas manifest in their life?
Well, that's an elaborate question, Neringa. Traumas can be of so many shapes and forms. For example, if someone had met with a tragic accident on a scooter and they have not recovered from that, their physical body would have recovered, but their mental body, their emotional body has not recovered. They keep revisiting how the event happened. And the fear sets in for them not to jump back on a scooter and ride that scooter again. So any accident, so trauma, high impact trauma, right? It's an acute trauma. Say someone went through a breakup, a really nasty breakup or a divorce, and they have not allowed the other person to move on, and they have not allowed themselves to move on, then this trauma will continue in every single relationship they have. So the very first relationship that you have is with your parents, and if you have not healed this relationship with your mother and your father, every single relationship will have resonance of this trauma that you have. It's called relationship trauma. So if you have relationship trauma with your family members, your parents mostly, your mother, it starts with your mother. If you haven't healed the relationship with your mother, you will have resonance of this with your boyfriend or girlfriend, husband or wife, your siblings, or every other person that you are in an intimate relationship with. You'll have this trauma resurfacing at different times. It'll trigger these trauma. Same with your father. These these patterns of this trauma will keep resurfacing if you have not healed the emotional trauma with your father. Now, there are three types of trauma: acute trauma, chronic trauma, and complex trauma. Under this, there is a lot of subdivisions. So to keep it brief, acute trauma is trauma that's happened once. It's a single event, like the car crash we spoke about. Chronic trauma is something that is continued. For example, a really toxic relationship or a disease that you struggled for a few years and going in and out of hospital. This is chronic trauma. Say if you had like IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and most of your childhood was going and visiting doctors back and forth to the hospital, back and forth. You healed from it, but your trauma as an adult is you always have fear that something that you might eat will trigger the IBS again. And you fear from having foods from outside, you fear from going out and eating or going to a family's place and eating certain things. You will ideally be someone who's intolerant to a lot of things. because your mind is programmed saying that you cannot have gluten anymore or peanuts anymore. Scientifically, yes, it's proven because your mind has not healed from it, so the body will not heal from that too. A complex trauma, a classic example I have here is schooling. For me, schooling was traumatic. It's a condition by an organization that puts you in a place that makes you lose your self-confidence, your self-identity, and your divine self, your self-preservation gets compromised. This becomes complex trauma. Complex trauma can be for an individual, also for a group. So for me, my experience with the school is an individual thing. I don't think any of the classmates had this trauma, or maybe they had as a group, but I felt I was an isolated being in the schooling environment, right? But talking to some of the members of our tribe, I realized that I'm not the only person who's had trauma from school. There are other people who've had trauma from school, but saying that there are also people who had some great experiences in school. So it depends from place to place, person to person, and the karma also shows up here, like what sort of karma that they are having, right? This is not just the organization of school. This could also be other organizations like working for a certain organization where everyone feels a certain type of complex trauma. So this could be also at a nation level. So somewhere like North Korea, where people are not exposed to the outside world. They think what's happening in their inside world is what's actually the entire world. They feel they've been told that the outside world is going to attack their land, their country. So they're protected in a way that they have no connection to the outside world. Only when they leave that country, they realize that there is a world outside of what they have not known so far. There is this beautiful documentary by a North Korean lady who escaped North Korea, and you can find her on Joe Rogan's show. So look it up. If you write Joe Rogan, North Korea, you should be able to get that one.
How does emotional trauma affect physical health in relationships?
Just like how I was talking earlier about how past trauma, unresolved past trauma can show up in the future or in the present, the reminiscence of that will affect your current relationship or current emotions. Same way, if your unresolved past trauma, when it's carried in the body, trauma sits in the body in a gross level. So when it's carried in the body, it affects your health. It sits somewhere in the body and it'll be in the form of vayu, gas. And acute gas, chronic gas, so it doesn't move. And it becomes chronic pain eventually. So when you haven't processed the trauma, that sits there. When you process and move your body, and move these gases out, the gross body starts becoming subtle body. So in the subtle body, the subtle body is activated. This trauma has a way to surface back up. When it surfaces back up, it becomes easier to let go of this emotion, of this toxic emotion that you've been holding for so long. When you resolve a past trauma, say, for example, the same example of healing your relationship with your mother, something within you opens up and releases in your physical body. You feel taller, you feel stronger, you feel more at flow. Fear is out. This toxicity has finally released, and it shows up as a vibrant body, as a subtle energy body.
Can trauma be passed down through generations?
Absolutely, Neringa. Trauma gets passed down through generations, and that's called agama karma. Agama means ancestry. Karma is action, the actions of the ancestry that you are facing. This very body is a creation of my ancestry. So a part of my DNA is their real estate. This body is a real estate of my ancestry, because it's their DNA that made me to function in this biology of this being. So the trauma that they've experienced is also there within this body, and it sits somewhere in its gross level. The only time it shows up is as fear, it shows up as insecurity. Fear of something that's unknown. So for example, if it's my great ancestors, right, who were like hunters and gatherers, at night they would not go out, they would hide in their caves and close the cave with a big boulder so that animals don't come in. A big mammoth does not come and attack and take them away, or a tiger or a lion or a leopard or a cheetah or a jaguar doesn't come and grab them, hunt them. So in the present day, how that will reflect is, it will reflect as when When your child is going out at night, say to go to the clubs or go to the pub or even go for music lessons after 7 p.m. because that's the time they can afford to do in the modern time, they will have this fear. What is my daughter up to? Will she be safe going out by herself? Will my son be safe riding in the night, coming back from music lessons? This fear will come. And if you really look deep within, it might not be their own fear. It might be an ancestral fear. And this fear passes on to the child as well. They'll have this toxic thought saying that going out at night is not a good thing. So they will avoid going out at night. If it is for health reasons and the circadian reasons, yes, it's a good thing. That's the right choice to make. But it is out of fear. That's definitely an ancestry fear. And that's fear that's been passed down through agama karma.
So if trauma can be an individual level, and there can also be intergenerational or family trauma, can there be a trauma experienced at the national level or a whole ethnic group, for example?
Great question, and that is very much true and is very much happening right now. If you take the victims of Holocaust, which is a great tragedy that happened in human history, that trauma is still very much present in our Jewish community. Our Jewish brothers and sisters are still suffering that trauma. It's an intergenerational trauma. They were removed and executed in the most unhumane way. Trauma that happened in Sri Lanka, the longest civil war in the history of the planet. Those wounds are still not being healed completely. Most of the older generation still carries. The younger generation are trying to heal and move on from that. The India-Pakistan relationship. The division of land created division in humanity through religion. Don't need this. We are the one being. We are human beings. We cannot be separated by caste, creed, color, nation, religion, borders. When we come together as human beings is when we can heal this intergenerational trauma, intercontinental trauma, intercountry trauma. Wouldn't it be great to have a world of peace, a world that gets along, a world that says we are human race? He's Chinese, don't trust him. Oh, the Americans, they're the world power. So we look up or look down or look at them as something else. Oh, Russia, I have to be careful of the Russians. Russians are one of the most beautiful people on this planet. They're very trustworthy people. Africa, a place where humankind walked out. The most richest continent, the entire planet, with so much resources, yet the poorest continent. Why? Because of the division, because of the separation between themselves. And this is what the invaders use. The invaders, doesn't matter who they are, they use division to conquer, divide and conquer. And in that we have this trauma of separation. Hence we have this intergenerational trauma, intercontinental trauma, intercountry trauma, interstate trauma, interreligious trauma. If only we come together in a symbiotic relationship as human beings, humanity will take birth again as once it was. And when humanity takes birth, this becomes the most beautiful planet in the entire galaxy to be in. Heaven and hell are right here on earth. It's the perspective of a being. It's the emotional perspective of a being to have a spiritual experience right here. Only when we come together in integration. Integrate. Integrate with the closest ones to you. Integrate with your family. Integrate with your children. Integrate to your community, your friends. Integrate with the people that you work with. If you're not happy where you are, move to a place that makes you happy. When you heal, the people, the beings around you heal. And this is the closest and the easiest way to heal any emotional trauma, any negative emotions that you have towards other beings.
Thank you so much for elaborating on this very complex topic. You mentioned the power of integration. Can you please elaborate on these steps that are needed to heal?
See, to integrate with someone outside of you, you need to integrate with someone within you. Who's the someone within you? The left-hand side of the body is called Shakti. energy, which is representing you. The left-hand side of the body is you. Just you, no one else. The right-hand side of the body is Shiva. Shiva is the Nirguna Brahman, the formless, the one with form and the one without form. Everyone else apart from you. The ones that you can see, the ones you can't see, the ones you can see and can't see. And then you can add here experience and all those type of things, okay? So everyone else apart from you is on the right-hand side of the body. This whole body is a neurology. It's like an intricate electrical wiring system which has got 72,000 nerves running through this body. 36,000 on the left, 36,000 on the right. So if there are 108 switches to this 72,000 nerve system, 54 placed on the left, 54 placed on the right. So 54 on the divine feminine, 54 on the divine masculine. 54 is you and 54 is the world outside of you. The practice that we teach in the Healing Warrior Tribe is to balance the you and the outside world. The divine feminine and the divine masculine. The Shakti and the Shiva becomes balanced. So the 108 points, when they become balanced, all the 72,000 nerves that's running in your body starts flowing in harmony and integration. When you are in flow and in integration, naturally everything and everyone, every single being outside of you, you will start seeing in that integration. Just the way that I'm connecting with you. I can't see you, but I feel that you will see me and get my message. This is integration. I'm integrating with you. How I'm able to integrate with you is because I have integrated with myself. I have integrated with myself and the world within me. The work in this body is continuously getting done. And from that, I'm sharing the knowledge back to you so that you can integrate with your world within you. And through that, you will be able to integrate with your communities around you, the external world outside of you. The healing starts in the internal world first. Once the healing is complete, and it is continuous, you will naturally start seeing that the healing starts to expand in the outside world of you. Your external environment starts getting healed.
Some people who have trauma feel like they have limited time and resources and want to know what to prioritize. Is there a distinction that they should focus first on the mental health or the bodily practices? What would you recommend?
They are not two separate things. They're not two separate things. Can you put the mind outside the body? I mean, in a way you can, but if the body dies, is there a mind? If there is no body, is there a mind? Where does this mind live in the body? Science says, Vedic science says, that the body lives in the pericardium of the heart. There is a sheet, Ananda. There's a sheet around the heart and lives in the pericardium of the heart. When you heal your physical body, this energy of your mental body, this emotional body, starts healing naturally. It starts coming out to the surface. So you need a physical practice. Remember, the physical body is not separate from the mental body, and the mental body is not separate from the physical body. They are an integrated thing. So when you go to the psychiatrist and say that you want to treat your mind alone and you haven't looked at your body, it's not a sustainable way to heal. The psychiatrist will do everything they can do through their knowledge to help your mental well-being. But if you have not trained and exercised the physical body, you will return back to the same old place that you were once before. Because trauma is locked in the gross body. Mind doesn't have a particular form. Mind is in every cell of this body. You could have a trauma here, you could have a trauma here. So wherever your pain in the body is, that is nothing but trauma stuck in the gross body. Train your physical body. In the Healing Warrior Tribe, this is what we teach. We teach an ancient warrior practice to train the physical body to open itself up, to charge the 72,000 nerves in the body so that your trauma at the gross level can surface up. From there, we have a course called the Mental Clarity Course, which helps you to understand and train your mind to solve all the mental and emotional problems of this life. By solving all the mental and emotional problems of this life, you're able to solve all the mental and emotional problems of all your past lives, for which you need to train the body first, then comes the mind. You can do it simultaneously. But you cannot just train the mind without the body. It is not sustainable. You need to train the body then the mind, or simultaneously train the body and the mind. When you train the body and the mind, your spirit that took birth in this body comes to life. You start remembering what is that you came here to do, what is the purpose that you took this birth. Your life will never be the same.
Thank you for sharing all this yogic wisdom. Would you like to share any wish with our viewers who are watching?
Thank you, Neringa. Thank you. I really truly wish that every being out there in this world, in our world, this planet Earth, finds true joy and are able to heal their past, their present, and create a future that they were destined to create. Every single one of you are unique beings. No two people are alike. No two people came to do the same thing. You have your own unique purpose. You took birth in this planet to do your unique thing. Please wake up. Awaken your inner being, awaken your spirit. You can change the mindset, the state of being and conscious that you are in by transforming your body, by transforming your mind. Only when you choose to do that. Don't live the same mundane life over and over every single day and create this mediocre life and eventually get to that place where the body doesn't have any purpose and it perishes. Wake up. We are here to help you. Join us. If you like our content, if you like what we've spoken so far, I invite you to join the Healing Warrior Tribe. Click the link below and to see if you qualify. Please subscribe so you can receive more content. If you have questions that you need more answers, we're happy to receive these questions to create more content for you. Please subscribe and like. Give your comments to us. That's how we know what we're doing is flowing with what you're seeking for.
Thank you for sharing your wisdom and learnings with us. And thank you for the viewers for watching. If you're interested to hear more, please subscribe to the Healing Warrior Tribe channel and leave a comment with any questions that you have. We're very excited to read what you have learned and continue this journey with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Neringa, and thank you all for watching.